It's Mike. Welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses, or if you're already doing how to grow your business. I've been getting a lot of questions about the real estate market and what is going on in the market and what's my future projections. Again, I don't pretend to know, but I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing in the market. So in our area, so I'm talking about New York City suburbs, I have not seen a tremendous drop in the market, but we also didn't see a crazy run up during the pandemic. There were several areas that saw crazy run ups during the pandemic. So a few that come to mind are Northern California, um, pretty much all of Utah, Idaho, areas like that, where literally, I'm talking about the last year of the pandemic, 2021, things went up crazy amounts, right? In just ridiculous numbers. And those areas have fallen, right? The peak, we're going to look back at the summer, end of the summer, let's just say summer of 2022 as the peak of the market, right? Really the bottom you can trace back is 2008, 14 years going up to summer of 2022, and then we're tailing off now. So I can tell you that we're seeing slight drops in our area. So I'm figuring a 5 to 10% drop in prices. Um, and I think but I have friends like in Utah who did a bunch of flips who lost money on the last 8 flips they did because in the luxury market of Utah, which is anything over, let's say, $500,000, things are down about 30%. Significant drop. But again, you've got to understand that's where it went from 2020. In 2020 went up 30%, and then it dropped to 30%. So the markets that had the steepest increase during the pandemic have had recent steep decreases, right? By the way, also Southern California, San Diego, the luxury market's down a little. But before we even talk about the market, you've got to understand that in the business that I am in, and the business which you probably are interested in if you're watching this video, you can never time the market, right? And you can never. What I see all the time is I see people going, "Well, now must be a terrible time to be in the market," with interest rates so high. Let me just make a few comments about interest rates from someone who's in the mortgage business for 17 years. Interest rates are not high. 7% is not a high rate, right? Normal rates are 5 to 7%. And I don't even think interest rates are 7% now. They're 6.5. Very normal rate. 3% rates are not normal. We may never see them again in our lifetime. They were ridiculously low, right? In my 17 years, the rates never got that low. I think the lowest they got was around 5%. So you've got for 30-year mortgages. So you've got to understand we're in a normal rate environment now. We're not in a crazy high rate environment. For people that are super young and think 3% is a norm and 6.5 is exorbitant, you haven't really looked at history. So understand there could be 6.5% rates, 7.5% rates for the foreseeable future. And nobody's going to really cry except the mortgage companies that rely on refinancing. So that's number one about interest rates. So the interest rates went up. They went up a lot, right? Going from a 3%, 6.5% is a big jump of 3.5%, or it went up to over 7% with 4% jump. But we're in a normal range right now. And if we go down to 5, we haven't, people will be waiting for it to drop to 4. It may never get below 5 again. It may never. Right? And if you think about it, I think we're the only company that really offers this 30-year fixed mortgage with a government-sponsored entity like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA to be the secondary market for these loans. And a lot of people don't understand what happens. So I guess I'll basically explain it. But there's an originator, a mortgage originator. That can be Chase, Bank of America, Wells, or that could be mom and pop mortgage, a mortgage banker that sells it to Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Uh, the larger companies are then going to sell those loans directly to Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae is going to create a security, so it's sort of a trading vehicle, and they're going to then sell those loans out, and someone's going to buy that security. Um, and it's basically, I'm not going to say guaranteed by the government, but you don't think Fannie Mae is going to ever not collect on those and pay the people who want the security whatever interest they're expecting. So we have a very, very robust and incredibly liquid secondary market for mortgages. They're sold. And because they're sold, an originator can continue to originate loans, right? If Chase Wells Fargo and Bank of America, the biggest banks in the world, couldn't sell their loans, they would run out of money. They originate billions of dollars of loans, and while they have multiple billions of dollars, that would only last them a short amount of time. But they sell these loans out, they securitize these loans with Fannie Mae, and then hopefully sometimes they keep the servicing, so they service the loans and make money on that too. But they have to be able to turn the money. The money has to keep turning. So Fannie Mae is constantly issuing these securities, and those are really the securities that determine where mortgage rates go. People think, oh, the 10-year Treasury. I was working in secondary marketing many days where the 10-year Treasury moved in a different direction than where Fannie Mae securities went, and the rates can go up or down only and solely based on Fannie Mae securities for a 30-year fixed mortgage. Now, I don't know how the hell I got into this discussion of secondary marketing, but it's important to understand that what's going on in the market now is a simple correction. So if the areas that went out of touch with reality, like Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, or Salt Lake City, Utah, those have corrected. People say, "Oh, we're dropped." They corrected, and an area where I operate, which is New York City suburbs, we've seen a slight correction. So what that means for somebody like me is that I have to be a little careful on my projections when I sell things. So when I make offers to sellers to buy, I'm basing that on a projection of what I think it's going to sell for. And now I'm taking a 5 to 10% pullback on my assumption. Now, I could be wrong, right? It could be higher and it could be lower. I don't know, right? If I'm buying something and closing on it and doing work to it, it's going to be 9 months before I really know what I'm going to be able to sell it for. But that's where we are. New York City really didn't see a crazy run up. There was an increase, but not a crazy run up. And now we're sort of seeing that pullback of 5 to 10%. So that's where we are. Now, projections for the future, I really don't have many. I will say, though, that most down markets, and if you don't believe we're in a down market, you really have not been reading what's out there on a macro level in this country. We are in a down market now. Down markets usually last a while. It wouldn't surprise me if we were in a down market for the next 2 or 3 years. Now, I'm not saying it's a precipitous drop like what we saw in 2008, where areas dropped 50, 60%. But I wouldn't be surprised if we are in a continual down market. Now, what I hope for is that I hope that the media finally explains to enough sellers that that's what we're in. A lot of sellers still think we're in a seller's market, and they believe that prices are continuing to go up, and it's not true. And I'd love to say, well, it's not everywhere, it's somewhere. It's just not true. Right? I don't know of any place where the market's gone up. The real estate market's gone up since the summer. Since August, let's say, some places since July, some places since June, but since August till now, right? We're 8 months, we're 6 to 8 months into that, and I can tell you, every place that I know, people say it's leveling off. What I've done and what I'm seeing in the market from properties that I have to sell now, is that I'm pricing them extremely lower than I want. So I just priced something recently at $529, and I know that the price should be around $550, and I'm creating a feeding frenzy. So I had like 60 people that saw the property this weekend, and I've gotten 4 offers, in the last 12 hours. And I'm going to continue to field offers, and I hope to get 550 or 560, and I hope to create some sort of bidding war. And I know I priced it low, and I'm pricing everything low, because it says low battery. That's not good. No, I'm pricing things low because right now, there's more of a concern that people are going to going to get buy at a bad price, and the price is going to drop soon after. So I believe you have to create a bargain. Now, I believe this is probably the best way to price houses all the time. Now, it's counterintuitive. If you're a newbie in the business or you don't know the business, you're going to think, well, I want to price my property $50,000 more than what I really want for it because I want to leave room for negotiation. It's a foolish thought. The market's going to and the market's going to determine that price no matter what. You pricing it high just turns people off to the point where people are not going to come, or people are going to come and go, I can't believe the guy priced it at this number. So I would say it's probably always better to price things low and then have the market come and show you what the real price is. I hope this was helpful. What I think, I don't know where the market's going, but I think we're probably going to be in a down market for a while. I don't know how steep of a down market we're going to be. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how far it's going to go down, but that's what I think. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com or learntoflipandwholesale.com. Am I buying more or less in the current market? I'm buying as much as I can, just same as I always am. I'm not cutting back on my buys now. I'm not. I'm just buying. I'm just trying to buy at a deeper discount than I would have before, or my assumption of what the ARV, the after repaired value, very often is not going to be based on what it may appear to be. I'm really only looking at comps that went into contract after August. I'm not looking at things that went into contract before that because I think people were just in la la land before that. But I'm buying as much as I can, as I always do, which is never as much as I want. I never buy as much as I want. So please, Richard Gibson, you're still seeing multiple bidders when pricing is low. Absolutely. Like I said, I just had 4 offers on a property in the past 12 hours because I priced it low. And I believe I will sell this for at least 20 or maybe $30,000 more than asking. If I would have priced it higher, I probably would have fewer offers. Probably would have less people seeing it and fewer offers. And also the fact that I had 30 people come show up at an open house 2 days in a row, 30 different people, that creates a scarcity mindset with people that are there. When they see people waiting online to get there, when they see all these people waiting for it, that's what you want in people's heads and in people's brains. So heads and brains, same thing. So please keep the comments coming. I post 5 times a week. I don't always know what to say. This did not come from a question. I have a few questions I have to go through, but some of them are hurting my head thinking about how to answer them. So please keep your questions coming. You don't have to ask a question about the video you're watching. You can ask a question about anything, anything you want. If it's something simple, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something that I've covered recently, I'll send you a link to a video. And if it's something new, I will do a brand new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching.